all the people who can't join today. And while people are still joining our call, let me start the presentation and let's get going, even if it's lower today, because as you can see, hello from me. I'm Frederick. I'm the practice lead analytics from DHL and one of the leads of the Adobe Analytics EMEA user group. And normally I would have Dan with me today, but he has a impromptu in-person workshop, so he cannot join today. So you will have to do with me. And yeah, we have quite some points on our agenda. So let's get to that. So we're going to start with the usual introductions, also why people are still joining. Then there's a little bit of content for me because with this type of session, we want to do something new this year. You can see on our chapter page that we actually have 3 more meetings already scheduled for the year, because what we want to do is like a quarterly get together. So just that people can say hello, we can do some fun stuff, like for example, most recent Adobe Analytics feature releases and all those exciting news around Adobe Analytics. For the rest of the session, we're going to do some breakouts again, because last time that was a lot of fun. And we are going to have some time to just hang out, chat, and like share what worked for us, what didn't work for us throughout the year, and share some stories and changes there as well. So, hello in chat. Let's get started with the so you already know that we are in the EMEA Adobe Analytics Virtual User Group that's led by me, Frederick, Practice Lead Analytics from DHL. Actually, for the last day today, because today is my official last day at DHL. I've already spent a portion of this day putting stickers on a new laptop and all that, so that's going to be very exciting. And Dan today is joining us in spirit because he has a impromptu meeting, a workshop in person that he needs to attend. So he's not here today, but he's the Global Digital Analytics Manager at Costa Coffee. And that's like, from what I've heard, is like the Coca-Cola version of Starbucks, just better. So that's where he is working. So what are we with this Adobe Analytics user group? What do we want to achieve? So we want to help you create more Adobe Analytics. We want to bring you together around our favorite tool and our favorite platform in the world. Connect people to product management with those people over here quite regularly, and also be a platform for other great content that's not only coming from us, but also from other people in the community. So if you have any topic that you want to share, if you want to present at one of those user group meetings, feel free. We create those basically for any topic we find interesting. And we're also going to do that in the future. And we also want to create something that's similar to what people in the US have, because there's quite a bunch of like more user groups there, and we want to have something for EMEA as well. So what you also should make sure is that you're also part of the chapter, because you can actually join those sessions and join those meetings that we have today without being part of the chapter. But if you are, then you can actually get some updates on future user group meetings. You get some updates on what's moving in the user group. So I highly recommend to do that. There's like almost 500 people in the user group by now, which is quite exciting for us. And yeah, that's a definite recommendation for you to do. What we also have is our YouTube channel. So there we upload just all the sessions as we record them. So for example, today's session is also recorded. There's also some recordings from other user groups and from the Adobe Analytics Champions office hours. So there's also a question and answer format that gets uploaded there, and all of that is on the YouTube channel. And like the screenshot is actually a little bit old already, because we have more than 9 subscribers by now, and it's like 300 or something. Like it's quite a growing group, and you can also check that one out. So another exciting piece of news for today is we actually have a German-speaking Adobe Analytics user group now. So there were other user groups in the past that were not sponsored and not powered by Adobe, and we now have a German-speaking Adobe Analytics user group for Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and like other, of course, other people from just that are just able to speak German from other countries as well. So if you want to join that chapter, we're going to have in-person meetings, but presumably also virtual user group meetings. If you want to join that German-speaking group, then you can also do that, and that's also on the same page as the EMEA Virtual User Group. So, anything forgotten now? No. So then let's actually start with the little piece of content that I have prepared for today. And that is a little bit of updates on what's new in Adobe Analytics. And this is something I would like to do like regularly. Like I don't know how many of you actually read any of the release notes as they come out for Adobe Analytics. So you can also type in chat if this type of content is like exciting for you, if that's interesting at all. But yeah, what I just want to do is like for the user group meetings that we have, like just sum up what's happened like until we met last time, because there's quite a bunch of features rolling out all the time. And yeah, this might be a good place and a good time to talk about those in a little bit more detail. So starting with what happened in January already, is we finally got folders in Workspace. So I do have some screenshots also prepared for later, but like folders is something that's super helpful to just organize all the projects that we have in Analysis Workspace. They can be created by any user, but also for admins, for like company-wide reports, and that's a super cool feature. Same also goes for auto-saving, because auto-saving has always worked for existing projects. So as long as you've already saved a project once, as soon as you saved, as soon as you changed something but didn't save the change, that's difficult to say for me. But unless you saved the change, then later, like that change was just lost, and you had a auto saving only for like already at least one saved project. And now we actually have that for new projects as well, which is quite exciting, because that allows us to, even before we saved it for the first time, to just see like all the changes that we've done to the project, and then we have that in a dedicated folder within the new folders feature, and can just bring those features and like whatever we've built back there. We have also enhanced preferences. That's also quite exciting, because all the things that we set on a visualization level. So for example, for a line chart, we can like activate and deactivate like the secondary axis, and like the anchoring at 0 and all those different options. And that's now configurable as a preference for any user. So if you always change something in your line chart, if you always change something like in your freeform table, you can now do that in one place. And that's super, super effective if you just like always like to have your visualizations in a certain format. There's also some very exciting calendar updates. I'm going to go over those in a little bit more detail, and also a new data dictionary feature. And that's basically a like more elaborate way to bring the component descriptions into Analysis Workspace. And there's also some really cool features there to show to end users which components they might use together. So for example, if you have a certain dimension, you can say which metrics you could use that dimension with, or like with other metrics, like what good combinations might be, or like how breakdowns might work in a very efficient way. So that's all very, very cool. And then you have also a cool update to the mobile dashboards app, because there's a data stories feature. I don't like the name all that much, but the feature is quite cool because it's like a little data presentation right in the app. We can't do that yet on desktop, but it's a cool feature. And there's also a private beta for link sharing for projects that doesn't require a login. And like people like me coming from a corporate background, I see that as a big compliance risk. But like if you are more on the adventurous side, then you can reach out to your customer success manager or your account manager to get into that beta, to play around with that link sharing without any login. Because for many companies, that's always a challenge, like how they can give like their marketing agency access to data in a self-service way. And that might be a cool solution for that challenge. So let's actually look into some of those features. So this is again the folders feature, because it's just something that's like that has been needed for quite some time. And folders are super cool. You can see one of the testing folders here on the screen. Like users can just create those for themselves. You can have folders within folders, and those are just on a per user basis. So unless you have something in a company folder which only admins can write to, like those, or like those folders only work on the individual user profile. So every user can have their own projects in their own folders. And if you share something with someone else, they might put it in a different folder than you do, because yeah, it's on a per user basis, and that's pretty cool. What also works is this is the auto-saving feature. So there's a dedicated folder that's automatically generated by the system, which is going to house all your auto-saved projects. So if you ever by accident close something and you're like, damn, I wanted to have that auto-saved, you can look in this recovered projects folder, and that's going to hold all those like lost projects if there are any. Then the calendar updates feature is also quite cool because in the past we had rolling calendar options. So we could say, all right, always show the last 3 months, for example, in a calendar. But now we can make those date range components relative to the panel calendar. And what that means is if you activate this feature, and it was by accident activated by default for some users, and then like we push back and now it's not a default anymore. But how this works is as soon as you activate this, for example, if you're using a date range like today or this week, this is actually going to be the first week of your selected date range. So all of those date components are now relative to the calendar, and you can actually do some quite interesting features. So for example, if you take something like this month, then it's always going to be the first month that you selected. And if you're doing like a lot of year-on-year comparisons, you can then just select a certain year and it's going to be relative to that. There's some changes in there, of course, with naming, because you still need to select a component that is named like today or this month or this week, and that's not going to be very not very intuitive if you are on this new calendar basis. But yeah, it's a cool feature nonetheless, something we've been asking for quite some time. Then the data dictionary, that's going to be like, for me, this still looks weird because like for the longest time we only had three icons on the left rail here, and like now we have a fourth one for the data dictionary. That just looks weird to me, but it's a cool place to put it. And that is going to house all of the descriptions for components. So you can also access that by just clicking the little eye icon that appears as soon as you hover over a component. And there's also some cool admin features in there because it looks somewhat like this. And it also gives us admins the option to see, for example, how many components are missing descriptions. That's super cool to just go through all your components and go through everything you have and then see like where you need to do some work on. It's going to show you how many components have duplicate names, for example, or also which don't have data. So it's very cool from a maintenance perspective and gives you some very cool insights on how you can actually like optimize your instance. Then this is the data stories feature for the mobile app. So how this works is you create those kind of slideshow slides. So you can just create a new slide and then kind of go through them one by one. And this is pretty cool because previously we had this kind of endless scrolling, or not endless, but like we created those mobile projects that had like all the content like a normal workspace project, like one beneath the other. And now we actually have a like secondary dimension, so to speak, to also bring those stories in there. And that's pretty cool if you want to do some storytelling. So this example here is for like a account creation workflow where you have like multiple steps and all that. And you can just swipe through that and like tell a story with that. And that's super cool if you're into that kind of thing. I wish we had something similar on the desktop as well. But right now it's mobile only, and it's quite a nice feature and quite a nice direction to go in for Adobe. So that's all I had prepared for the actual features, but there's also things that are not featured, but things that we need to be aware of as admins for Adobe Analytics. So I've also assembled those. So there's an update, for example, to the carrier database from Adobe Analytics. So if you're using the domain dimension a lot, that tells you like which internet provider a certain user is using, then you can just use that like as you've done before, but there's an update to that. So you might see some changes in some items and some users moving around. Just, yeah, it's working a little bit differently on the back end now with a different vendor behind that. You also have a similar situation with the IP to geolocation mapping, because that's also like, depending on which side I'm on, like I'm either going to be located in like Cologne or like a different German city. And this is also going to like create some changes just in your reporting, and you might see some shifts like from like one geographic location to another one, just because it's like if it's a different vendor, it's going to have different data. So that's just something to be aware of. Then something that you might be already aware of is that Adobe has paused some of these scheduled reports and scheduled tasks for report build and reports and analytics. For reports and analytics, that makes sense because that's going to be sunset this year. For report build, I don't really know why. Like Adobe has been messing with some schedules quite a bit over the recent weeks and months. So it's not quite surprising, but still something to be aware of. Adobe also is working on a Google Client Hints feature, so that's something. If you're not aware, like previously, we had the user agent to, for example, determine if a user is using Chrome or Safari or something, and that's going to be like reduced in the future. But Google is offering some client hints which are similar to a user agent, and they make some updates to the device lookups that are behind those client hints. And that's, again, something to be aware of because you might see some changes in your browser allocation. And like a certain user might be a Chrome user yesterday and an Edge user tomorrow or something, just because, like as the whole industry, Adobe is also trying to figure out a way to assign those for us. A exciting migration is also happening to the classification set architecture. Architecture, difficult word again. That's also called the taxonomist upgrade or update. And that is actually quite exciting because it's just a more modern way to deal with classifications, create them, and manage them. And that's going to be very exciting in the future. Brings also some nice performance upgrades. So like the time until you see classifications show up in the interface after you've uploaded them, like that's going to be shorter in the future. So it's pretty cool for that reason. And that's also something to be excited about. And if you have some issues like in your classifications and like some weird errors, you might want to reach out to client care about that, because that already happened in February. And if some like issues have started to crawl up, because it gets also changing things like the API now has like different names for classified dimensions and all that. Like previously it was just the number, so like the division number if you're that old, but now it's actually the name of the classified dimension. So it's working a little bit different through the API. And if you've seen any issues with that, it might be worth reaching out to client care about that. Then there's also a bunch of end of life notices. So if you're like one of the 3 customers or whatever of the how's it called, like device co-op product from Adobe, where they try to get like a bunch of companies around the globe to share their data so they can like identify people like across domains and like across websites, which is like exciting but also very concerning from a like data privacy standpoint. If you're one of the like 3 customers who've been in that beta, then like there's some sunsetting also affecting you, and you might be you might need to change some things because of that. But I don't know anyone who was in that program anyway, so might not affect everyone from us. And then end of this year, we're going to see quite a bunch of end of life. So reports and analytics is going to rip in peace, and also data workbench is going to be gone by the end of the year. So since data workbench runs on-prem, it should still work, but it's not going to be further supported and developed. And if you still have people working in reports and analytics, or if you're using that yourself, then you might want to like update your stuff and like you want to migrate to analysis workspace instead, because coming end of year, that's going to be a thing of the past as well. All right, that took more than 10 minutes, but also quite a bunch of reports and analytics I see in chat indeed. So that was quite a bunch of updates. So let me know in chat again if you like this format, if this was helpful to you, because we're reading those like release notes anyway. So like we can just bring that into here and just share it in the user group. And what I'm now trying to do is I'm going to try and use the rooms feature of this neat platform. So let me click a little bit here. So now we're going to get to the get together part. And if you don't want to participate in that, then feel free to leave now. But yeah, how much time do we have? So let's maybe start with a first session, and then I'm going to create rooms of 5 participants, and there's a time limit for 15 minutes. So we've never done this on this platform, so let's see how well that works. And yeah, let's hope nobody gets left out, and if somebody joins in between, that they don't have to wait in the lobby until we're done. But yeah, see you all in the breakout rooms.